Right, here we are at question 5. Lots of you are going to look at this and think this is a disaster because it's a break-even chart, and lots of you don't understand break-even charts, so I'm going to try and make this as easy as possible. Right, so they've started off by doing a bit of Welsh words. They love that at the WJC. They're giving you all the information. So with all these, the information is all in the text. They couldn't make it any easier, right? So we know it says there's an audience of up to 300 people. Each person pays £7. And when the theatre's full, £2,100 will be taken. Okay, so let's look at this thing. I'm going to make it slightly so I can actually read it. I say, on the diagram above, draw and label the fixed cost line. So what are their fixed costs? You can tell where the fixed costs are because their total costs have started at a certain point. And remember, total costs equals fixed costs plus variable costs. Now, just to go back one, fixed costs are costs that do not change with output, and variable costs do change with output. So, if you draw this line across here, this must be the fixed cost because it can't ever go. Total costs can never go below that line. So, I've just done it. And if I'd get 1 mark for doing that, and then you get a second mark for putting FC to say fixed costs. Right, how many tickets must be sold for the theatre to break even? Now, this is really easy. Break even is when revenue equals costs. So when total revenue equals total costs. So I've already given you this point. So there's the point. I'll put it in a different colour. Here's the point, and all you've got to do is dot down, and it says you'd have to have 200 tickets. It's as easy as that. Now this is where they start making it a wee bit more complicated. They say, how much profit will the theatre make when it's full? Right, so when it's full, it said they'll make £2,100 money in. So their revenue will be here at £2,100. But please don't write £2,100 because that'd be stupid. So first of all, I'd say £2,100. And I'd say take away, because that's their revenue. We've now got to take away their costs. So at that exact same point, their costs are whatever this point is. So I'm going to zoom in. Right, so what would their cost be? That's obviously, this bit says this bit is 1,500. So where's that? What's it? And it's 1 block above. It's 2 blocks above that. Probably should have checked this before actually making the video. Right, I had to pause the video then. Each block is 50. So that here is 1,500, 1,550, 1,600. So the answer is 2,100. Take away 1,000. Whoops. Take away 1,600. Now, don't try and be the big man here or big girl. What you've got to do here is you have to still put in your calculator because this is where you have a shocker. So 2,100 take away 1,600 is 500. Now at the minute I put 500. How much money? I'm only going to get 1 mark, so I've got to put £500. Please don't lose marks on that. It would make me sad. Now if you're still rubbish at break even, which I don't blame you if you are, go and watch the break even video on the finance thing. Right, there's going to be so many examples on there, and you will be good at it by the end. Please do that. Okay, don't get confused with this question. He's talking about Frank James, and he's talking about his small tea room, which is really exciting for us all, right? He set it up as a sole trader, but that's irrelevant. It says, suggest and explain 2 aims Frank might have for his business. So all we've got to do is say an aim and then explain it, right? Now, an obvious aim always is to make profit. But you're sitting there thinking, how am I going to explain profit? So you say, he would aim to make a profit. This means you'd aim to have more revenue than costs. I mean, what else can you say? There's literally nothing else you can say with profits. Another aim he might have is just to survive. I can't tell whether that's how to spell survive. Who cares? Right. Now, in the first year, lots of businesses go bust. So you could write this. In the first year, lots of businesses go bust. So as soon as they start up, they really just want to try and survive for the first year. Right, let's think about other aims you can say for a business. Other aims might be to... What else could you say? You could say to be ethical. So to be morally right. Ethical. So you might feel like that's one of his aims. Another aim might be to have a big market share. Any of those things will do. I'm sure you'll have said other ones as well. But the key thing to this question is, say one, and then just keep on writing stuff to try and explain it. Even if you think what you're writing is rubbish, it's better than not writing anything. Right, anyway, let's keep on going. Whoops. Right. Frank would like to employ an extra worker. How exciting for Frank. Now, suggest 2 items that might appear. Now, please get this right. This will upset me. This will actually make me cry. Suggest 2 items that might appear in a job description. Explain why these are important to the worker. Explain why these items are important to the worker. Okay, fine, that makes sense. So remember, there are 2 things that there might be. There might be a job description, or in the next exam, they might instead say a person specification. You have to know the difference. You have to. Right? A job description describes a job, so it says the sort of things that are going to be going on with the job. So, and I will talk about them in a second. A person specification says what sort of person they want. So they outlines the qualities, the skills, the experiences that person wants. So with a job description, there's a couple of things that might appear. One might be the pay, and you'd write pay. Then you'd say this would be important to workers because they want to know how much they're going to get paid to see whether it's worth taking on that job. Just any old rubbish like that will get you the mark. Another thing, instead of pay, you might say they might want to know location, and you can say because the worker wants to make sure that it's in a location where it's near where they live, because they don't want to drive a long distance. What's another thing you could say? You could say on the job description it says what duties you need to do. Oh, it's getting late. I can't remember how to spell duties. And that's like, so the worker might want to know that they're capable of doing those duties, so they want to know what they're actually going to be doing. It's pretty much as simple as that. You might have said something else. What else could be on a job description? It could be the job title. And this might be important to people because they want to know what their title is. Anything else, all those things would be good. But the key thing here is please don't just say it, you've got to explain. If you don't explain, you're not going to get all the marks. Right, this is just painful to me in my opinion, right? This is so obvious. Give one important quality the person appointed should have, suggest why this quality is important to Frank's business. Right, so this person's getting employed in the tea room, so literally anything will do at this point. If you said good communication skills, and said it's really important to have good communication skills because they're dealing with customers, and the reputation might go down if they're not good with customers, that'd be fine. So anything. You can say they've got to be good with maths because they can deal with money. If you can't get 2 marks for that, then just, I don't know really. I don't even know what to say to you. What would really scare me is if you just gave one and then you didn't say why it was important. That would just be such a waste of a mark. Right, next one. As the business grows, Frank is considering taking on a business partner. Now this is the dream. When this question comes up, I want you just to look at your mate, maybe in the hall, and just give him a little thumbs up or a little smile and say, yes, we're winning. Because it's saying, discuss whether Frank should take on a partner for his business. This is 10 marks. This is like saying, do you want an A star? And you're like, yeah, I won't mind one. Because it's so easy. Right, so whenever this question comes up, you always, first of all, define a partnership. Probably want to spell partnership right, that'd be a good start. So once you define partnership, and you're going to get 1 mark for doing this, it's just a partnership is when there's between 2 and 20 people who set up a business. That's it, and they've got a deed of partnership. So there are your 2 bits. You talk about a deed of partnership, don't even need to say anything about it. You don't say deep, you put deed of partnership. And you say something else, what was I chatting about? Oh yeah, between 2 and 20 people. Right, so all we need to do, now, if you just list things, you're going to get a maximum of 4 marks. If you just list the advantages and disadvantages, you're only going to get 4. What I want from you lot is, if you actually look at this, there's only this much space. I want you to just use all that space because between every point you're going to make, you're going to leave a line. And I want you to use extra paper, and I want the examiner to get to the end of your answer and to think, how can I not give this person 10 marks? That's what you've got to do. Okay, so once you've defined it, let's start off with the good things. So let's go for plus things you could say. A good thing about having a partnership is you're going to have more startup capital. So you get 1 mark for saying that. The next bit, and this is the most important thing, is after you said more startup capital, I'm going to put this in green because it's so big, you've got to say why this is good. And it's good because if you've got more startup capital, you'll be able to, you grow quicker, you can spend more on products, you can do whatever you want. So there's lots of positive things about that. Next, another positive thing is you might have more ideas. And then this is good. The reason why more ideas is good because if you've got more ideas, you're more likely to come up with a good idea, therefore you're going to make more profit. Just anything extra. But the key thing is that extra bit of line, that's why I've done it in green. Right, another positive thing about a partnership is you can have holidays. You can say the reason why you can have holidays is because there's 2 of you. And the reason why having more holidays is good is because you're less tired. less stressed, more motivated, anything. Right. Other good things you can say is it doesn't matter if he's sick. Because if they're sick, they can do the same sort of thing, same old thing. So I'd probably have picked 3 of them. And then once I've done my good things, I then go, on the other hand, there are disadvantages. I go straight for so I'll put these disadvantages down here. Right, one disadvantage is the partnership, there might be conflict. So you could say they might get angry with each other. So therefore it might be really hard to get things going on. And so you might get really angry with your partner. Anyway, so this is bad because it will take ages to make decisions and you'll get angry. The second bad thing is you have to share your profit. You say this is bad because, he went into business to make as much money as he can, and if he has to share it halfway, he's not making as much money. Right, the third thing is you might, what else can you say? Your reputation is affected by your partner. So if your partner turns out to be a bit of a joker, everyone's going to think you're a bit of a joker, and that's going to be really annoying after a while. So I've done my good things, I've done my bad things. What do you do now? Do you just give up and say, yeah, it was easy? No, this is the most important thing, to make sure you don't just get 8 marks. I want a grand finale. I want a final conclusion. And I'm not going to lie, I don't really care what you say here, as long as it makes some sort of sense. I would say, and I love this is a conclusion, I like to say, it depends on. When you say it depends on in a conclusion, you sound clever. So here's my it depends on. You could have a different one. I'd say having a partner is a really good thing, but it depends on whether his partner has got good skills or not. If his partner hasn't got any good skills, then it's not worth doing. Or you could say it's good to have a partner as long as, or same as it depends on, as long as the partner has got loads of money, because then he can add money to the business. Or as long as he's got different skills to what you've got. Anything like that would be good as a conclusion. Right, now I've done this whole answer. What have I not chatted about the whole way through? I haven't said anything about, unlimited liability. Now the reason why I haven't said anything about unlimited liability is because both sole traders and partnerships have unlimited liability. So that doesn't change in this question. So there's no real value in me saying it. Remember, sole traders and partnerships are the only ones with unlimited liability. All the other ones, franchises, what else is there? Limited companies, they've all got limited liability. If you don't get them, go back to the videos I made on them. Question number 7. Right, these questions, honestly, you think they come up with some new ideas. They've run out of ideas, and they constantly go on with this picture every single time of some retail park with a few companies in it, and you'll think you've seen this before, but you haven't. It'll just be a different one. Okay, so it's always the same. One advantage and one disadvantage to Asda supermarket of being located at this retail park. Okay, so let's think, what could be good about Asda being located in this retail park? If you just said there's lots of parking, how many marks are you going to get? You can get 1, right? So instead you'd go, one advantage, so for example, let's do it, say if I did it as parking, I'll actually write this properly for you. I'd say there is, now stay with me here, you're probably going to get bored while I write, but just stay with me. So there's a large car park, and by saying that I've got 1 mark. Because there's a large car park, this means it's this means it's easier for customers to park. Now what I'm writing here is just like the most dreadful English ever, but who cares, right? There's a large car park, this means it's easier for customers to park. Then you can add some more, and you can say, as it's easy to park, they might buy more. And as well as buying more, they might turn up more often. Okay, so what I've done there is I've made 4 marks out of absolute talking complete rubbish. And that's what you've got to do. You've got to keep on writing, even when you think it's rubbish, because that's where the marks are going to be. Right, there's other ones you can say, obviously. You could have said, another good thing about it being here is there's lots of other shops here, so customers might go to that shop and then go to the Asda supermarket. You could say it's only a mile from the motorway, so lots of people might come there. You could say it's only 2 miles from the town centre, so it's close by. You could say that there's a bus stop nearby, so that means people are more likely to go there. Anything. Right, next bit. Right, disadvantages. So, anything will do it. Literally anything. So the ones they've said in the mark scheme are one, because there's lots of shops, there might be loads of congestion. So that means that people might not be able to get to the car park. Fine. It also says that it's quite far away from the town centre, so that means people might not come from the town centre. I think that's pretty much what you can say. I could argue that if there's an empty unit there, the area might not be going so well. But I think congestion is probably the best one, because you can't really say competition because all the products are different to your one. So I'd potentially say congestion is my one. Right, okay. Outline 2 ways in which the retail park might affect business in the town centre. Okay, think about this. How might businesses be affected by this retail park? First of all, they're going to be badly affected because there's going to be more competition, and customers more likely to go to retail park. Because there's going to be, I don't know, for any reason, because maybe because they've got more parking. Now, anything else will do. So think about what else might affect, how it might affect businesses. Arguably, it might be good for businesses in town because they'll have to pay lower rent. Because if no one's in town, if there's no businesses in town, they're going to have to put down the rent in town. Now, that's quite a clever one, so don't feel bad if you didn't think of that one. What else could there be? You could say there might be loads of congestion. So it could cause, because it's only a mile away or 2 miles away from town centre, so it might actually be worse than. But don't worry if you haven't said the same one as me. As long as you say one that makes sense and you explain it, you're going to get the marks. Right, let's keep on going now. They're talking about eco-friendly. Now, if you haven't watched my video yet on external influences, watch it now because this will help you with it. So how could Asda improve its eco-friendly policies? So eco-friendly means being good to the environment. So you could say less bags. So they could make you pay for bags maybe or something like that. What else could they do? They could have more bins. They could have less packaging. Now, because this says suggest, anything will go, and all you've got to do is state it. You don't have to put any too much effort into that one. Now, this is just painful. Explain why your suggestions are important. So what you'd say is, less packaging is important because if there's less packaging, then there's going to be less waste. This means it'll be good for the environment. Secondly, if there are bins, that means less rubbish is going to be put on the ground. This is good because if there's less rubbish on the ground, it'll be good for the environment. I don't even know what else to say there. Like, at this point, just keep on going. Don't think, I can't be bothered to write anything. Just write more than the next guy, and then you're going to get full marks. Right, this is the last part of this video. Evaluate promotional methods which supermarkets such as Asda might use to increase their sales. Now, we love this question. This is because it's just so easy for us, because we're talking about promotional methods, but someone out there, one of you guys, please don't be you lot, are going to only get 4 for this because they haven't evaluated. So look at your answer. Did you evaluate? So you've got options here. You could either say, now I sometimes talk about above the line and below the line, and you can do that if you want, but I'm going easy here. They can either be promotional sales promotions, or there can be media promotions. Right, so sales promotions are things like buy one, get one free, or bog off. Or things like, what else can you say for that? Also, loyalty cards. And over here, media is things like TV and radio. And what else could you say? You could say, I don't know, like magazines. Right, the key thing here is, with every promotional strategy, you explain what it is, then you say what's good and bad about it. So there's your thing. You go explain what it is, then say a plus point, then say a negative point. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to explain one way of doing it. I'm going to write one example, and then you are going to check whether yours is as good as this. Now, because I'm a nice guy, I'm going to pause the video while I write it, so you don't have to watch me write. Okay, I'm glad I didn't make you have to sit there and watch me do that. Now, look at this answer I've done. So you can pause the video and look at it first, and then I'm going to explain how I got the marks, right? So I said one sales promotion could be, I'm going to get my little arrow out. One sales promotion could be buy one get one free, so I'm getting 1 mark for saying that. This could work because customers feel they're getting a good deal and will therefore buy the product. I mean, come on, that's just common sense. I'm just writing it. Now look what I've done here. I've left a line, and then I've said on the other hand. So please leave lines, because look at this already. I've used up almost all the space, and I'm going to need extra paper. And the examiners cannot be bothered to read the extra paper. So the more stuff you write, the more chance you're going to get full marks. Anyway, so I said on the other hand. Going back to my little pointer. Don't go away. On the other hand, buy one get one free could mean, not sure whether that's the right mean or not, could mean the company are getting less money per sale. Now this is why I've thrown in some absolute gold dust. They're getting less money per sale, so we'll need to sell more to break even. That's huge. Now you might not say the break even thing, but all I've done is I said a good thing and I said a bad thing. So for an 8 mark question, how many times do I do this? I'd probably do this for 2 sales promotions and 2 media promotions. And once I finish that, I would then say, now, as you expected, I'm going to say in conclusion. And just say, I think the best one is, and remember what I said before, you can say as long as, or it depends on. So for example, I might say, I think a TV advert is the best way because you can get in front of lots of people. However, it depends on how good the advert is. If the advert's not any good, you're not going to be successful. Or you might say, I think loyalty cards are a really good way of doing it, as long as you make the points for the loyalty cards good enough so it's worthwhile doing. I mean, come on, that's gold. This as long as and it depends on will always get you marks for your conclusion.